Hello guys, how you doing? So I've been umming and ahhing for a while if I should actually make this video, and I think what's convinced me, or the way I've convinced myself that this makes sense, is if this is going to impact the channel quite a bit, I think, and it's going to mean that there's going to be times where I'm not really going to be able to make videos, and you guys are probably going to notice it. Now, I could have just carried on and been like, you know what, it's fine. I'll just make videos when I can and work around it that way. But I honestly think that as cheesy as this sounds, because I am, you know, people watch my videos, right? You guys watching it right now. I feel like there's an obligation that when things are going wrong, that it is sort of your duty to stand up and say, look, this is what's going on, because it might give other people out there who may end up watching this, even if it just helps one person, gives them like a better outlook as to what's going on in their life. So, all right, that's getting a bit soppy, but let me explain what's going on. So, around 2.5 months ago now, I started getting symptoms again of Crohn's inflammation. Now, a lot of you guys know that I've got a condition called Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel condition. Uh, IBD, they're generally called. And ulcerative colitis is kind of similar in the way it affects the body. But basically, it means that my immune system can attack my large bowel. That's the way it manifests in me, which causes a lot of issues, obviously. Now, I was taking medication for this. That medication has stopped working. Now, I have I basically went through a course of strong steroids, which tend to bring it under control. But the hope was that the steroids would be enough to bring me back to a point where I'd be totally fine. Fortunately, that's not actually happened. So the steroids did work for about a week, and I kind of got back to like, oh, I feel sort of semi-normal now. Unfortunately, they wear off very quickly because the other medication I was taking at the time wasn't enough to keep me in remission. So what has happened is over the last week and a bit, I have been into hospital and I've had a few tests done. I actually had 7 blood tests and 2 other tests, which I want to talk about, that were done. And the results of those came back yesterday. And I'm actually, like, it's kind of surreal, this is, but I'm waiting for a phone call from the hospital to tell me what the next, what the plan is, basically. But the options are, um, the medication that I have taken in the past, which has helped me, I can no longer take. This wasn't the medication I was on recently either. This was medication I was on a few years ago, um, because I failed the pre-screening checks for that. So this is kind of worrying because it means the drug that did help me before no longer will work on me. So we need to find a new one. There are 2 which I am being put forward for, and I'm waiting for the final decision on those. The problem is both of these drugs are going to, one of them I think is going to be more disruptive than the other one. So the first one, it's basically administered through IV. So it's an infusion. So you have to go to hospital. And from what was explained to me, this would be 3 or 4 trips in the first couple of weeks. The trips would last upwards of 4 or 5 hours, maybe. Even though the actual infusion itself only takes 30 minutes, it might, I have to stay in hospital for checks to make sure it's working and, I'm not having adverse effects and all of that stuff. And then there's like extended blood monitoring and all of that stuff which goes on with it. So that's one. The other one is, I think, a slightly stronger medication, which I don't think they'll give me. But like I said, I'm still waiting to see what the consultant or the doctors come back and say to me about this. Which, by the way, guys, I'm in the UK, so we're blessed with the NHS. We don't have to pay for our medical care as such. And I've had the same doctor for, wow, like 9 years now. So they're very intimate with my case, and they will come to a good conclusion as to what I need. But basically what this means for the channel is, you can probably tell from this video. I mean, I know I haven't done my hair or whatever, so I'll probably look a bit more drastic than I am. But it basically means that I'm very tired a lot of the time. And for me right now, it's going to take, I mean, so what will probably happen is I get put on steroids, and then I have one of these other treatments at the same time. The steroids have an effect where it will they affect you in a lot of different ways, but basically it'll affect me because I know I've taken them a few times before in the past in a way which means that it will be pretty hard for me to make content. The other medication, I've got no idea how that'll affect me. Hopefully it gets rid of my symptoms. But all of these drugs, they are, you're looking at like 14 weeks before you even start seeing an improvement from them. So what this might mean is when I look at the channel, look at the videos I've been making, and I've been looking at things like OverAnalyzed and all of that stuff, it means that I will probably, when I make those, I won't have the camera active. I might sound not as energetic as I normally am, just because I simply am not energetic. Like, in terms of what it kind of does to me at the moment, obviously I'm tired all the time. I'm the big thing with Crohn's, if any of you guys have got family members with this or with ulcerative colitis, or you've got it yourself, in fact, it's toilet trips. It sounds grisly, but it is. You have to go to the toilet with very short notice, and it's not like 2 or 3 times a day. I went 18 times yesterday. I mean, it's very it takes it out of you physically, and it's not just in the day. Of course, it's at night when you're asleep. So you get to sleep for an hour, you wake up, you have to go to the toilet. You get to sleep for an hour, you see where this is going. So it makes me really, really tired. Like I said, this video isn't like oh my God, please be like, Star, you're okay. It's not about that. I just wanted to make the video to just say, look, there will be not as many videos coming out on the channel as there normally is. I could have just ignored this and just carried on as is, and I don't think people necessarily would have been too fussed, but I do believe that because I do have an audience, and even if this does help one person, that me talking about my condition might actually help people in the long run. Because be under no illusions here, like I've had this since I was 21, so I've had this condition for a very long time. Been through various medications, and hopefully this is the fingers crossed part, is when I start taking the medication, which will hopefully get approved today, then I should start getting better, because I've never truly been 100%. This year has sort of been a blessing in disguise, because if there were events that I had to travel to, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like, me being me, I probably would have tried, and it would have been an absolute disaster. So in a way, it's sort of helped that everything got cancelled this year. But also, it doesn't help with the fact that we know what's going on in the world right now, and all of this medication that I'm being basically will be given really hammers your immune system to the point of, if you did get an infection, it would be way worse. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of like weeks. I think just to end this video on like what's going on. So I have no videos now. You guys probably have seen quite a few OverAnalyzed have gone out recently, more so than usual. That's just because like I'd pre-recorded them. I still made the odd like news update videos and stuff like that. Probably will still be able to do those, although it'll just have to depend on how I feel like basically on the day. There is this merchandise which actually I've got on, the value stuff. Now, I've made a video talking about this. I don't know whether it's good enough though. Like, I probably want to make a better one, but I'm in like a really iffy scenario where I don't think I actually can. So like, I've got there's this hoodie. There's just to give you guys like I guess a bit of a teaser. There's a neck gaiter which you can pull up, and there is a jogging bottoms as well, which are embroidered, which are really good quality anyway. But yeah, that'll probably be something which will come out in the next few days. Yeah, and apart from that, I'm just going to try and do OverAnalyzed. Probably won't have the camera. I will maybe work on some other bits and pieces. It's just the issue is like it's difficult for me to commit to like long. As mad as this sounds, it's difficult for me to sit down for 30 minutes, 40 minutes and record and overanalyze, because I have to go to the toilet and all of that stuff. And also, like, I might miss things because I'm tired, which doesn't help. But yeah, I just wanted to update you guys. So there you go. Don't worry. But just remember that probably won't be as much videos as usual just because of this. But hopefully in the next, like, couple of weeks, things start improving. And if that's the case, then things will probably get back to normal pretty soon. But all right, there you go, guys. And I guess my final thought of this video is, if you do have something wrong with yourself, please go to the hospital. Don't sit there and let it fester. I've known a lot of people with IBD who have ignored the symptoms for a very long time. You have to act, and you've got to act quick. So yeah, if there's ever anything wrong with your body, get to the doctors. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.